Welcome back, everyone, to the North American Star League Season 4 qualifiers. We're in the middle of a series between Ostojiy and Inca. I didn't load the replay just yet, so Andre stall for 15 seconds.
No problem. Ostojiy just lost game number 1 to a pretty easy, not easy, it's very difficult actually, but by, what do you call that? A
Very
Sentry
simple.
Force Field.
Oh. What kind of build was it? Yeah, it was a 4-gate sentry play that was very well executed. It happens a lot on maps like Metropolis as well. I know people love doing on Metropolis because of the long distance, the fact that you can close the gap between the two bases very easily. And in general, Ostojiy has to keep that in mind, but now he has Daybreak as a good map, and it actually fits Ostojiy's playstyle very well. He's very counterattack oriented, loves playing macro as well, and you can kind of do those things really easily on Daybreak.
Well, let's find out. In the bottom left-hand position, we have as the red Zerg is, of course, Ostojiy. Top right-hand position as the blue Protoss, it is Inca. And, gosh, if I had to say anything about Ostojiy's play last game, it's, again, to have that ability to, just scout out the map, see what's going on. You really need to just scatter Zerglings. The main reason for that in the beginning stages is to check for any of the pylons that could potentially go down, and for things precisely like that. The War Prism drops are very important to actually scout out. A lot about Zerg is actually having the ability to see so you can prepare for it. Yeah. You don't actually prepare for everything. It's you have good scouting, you see it coming, and then you have that travel distance to actually react to whatever it is that's coming.
Yeah, if I had to pinpoint like a religion that that Zergs would identify with, it'd be, well, it's not a religion, a philosophy, a skepticism. Like Zergs, you have to see it to believe it. They're not a faith-based race at all.
No.
You can't believe in the good faith of Protoss or Terrans. You can't really trust anything less than what you concretely see. And even then, if you see it, you have to be very careful. You have to see it finished.
Exactly.
You have to see the buildings done. You can't just say a Dark Templar Shrine is there. You can't say Stargate is there. They could cancel it. And so that's how Zergs really operate from that point on. I would say Zergs are definitely the agnostics of StarCraft.
They have to be a lot more careful. Yeah. Let's say it that way. They can't go with a leap of faith at all. Yep. Because that leap of faith will be punished. Maybe 10% of your games, which is super unfortunate. Ostojiy going to plant his expansion down over at the 3rd base location. And it looks like Inca's not going to punish that at all. Of course he can't punish that at all. The Forge is just now coming up. When you see this as a Zerg, you're like, okay, I'm not going to be cannon rushed, thank goodness. Or you think you're not going to be cannon rushed. You think it.
I know, it's such a mind game back and forth.
You could potentially be.
It's so hard because you don't want to, it just takes one time to mess up in that regard. But
yes.
For now, I guess at this point, Ostojiy is just comfortable taking that 3rd base for now as his natural expansion. And now it enters the point where Inca pretty much has a lot of defensive options, but I want to see what he chooses to do tech-wise this game because, again, he's been showing very Stargate-centric play, but now mixing it up with Sentry War Prism, very different from what we're used to seeing out of him.
Yeah. Which really shows, I guess, his versatility. I know he was just going so much Stargate play before, as you were saying. So it is kind of weird that we see such a drastic change, although it's just one game, so we shouldn't take too much into consideration about it. Let's find out what he does this game. 2 gases at regular timing. Yep. Not very similar to Crank style, who only gets 1 gas or 3 gases.
That was actually really cool, and I think I'll tell Ro8 about that build because he really likes knowing like different gas timings in PvZ, especially when you go 2-base like that. But I think what's really cool about Ostojiy's recent play is that he's been playing very safe. Ostojiy used to be known as kind of a cheesy player. He was like not necessarily cheesy, but it was like one of those things where he would go high aggression, and if it didn't work, he'd be very far behind. So he'd play very risky. But now he's really transitioned to like a solid macro player, really, Ro8-based ZVP and whatnot. So, and that's really cool because now he's becoming one of these premier up-and-comers from North America that, even if you overlook him, he'll beat you.
Yes. Ostojiy has been credited with a lot, actually, recently. Idra giving him a lot of respect, I know, as of recently. And Idra, not really known for giving people respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I look forward to the day Idra says, I'm an okay caster.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. Oh, And I'll ask him to say it one more time, record it on my phone, and listen to it
It's
whenever
like,
I feel
you're
sad.
okay, or, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Oh,
So,
slow down, Gretorp. Well, let's not get crazy here. Man.
Gosh.
Inca is moving out with his probe. He definitely knows what he wants to do at this point. He's going to put 3 more gates down and just start an initiative to really pressure Zerg. Now, Daybreak, it's a very hard way to kind of connect creep, because a lot of Zergs want to push down the ramp, but they also want to connect their bases. So oftentimes you see Zergs really choose to spread in one direction. As a result, you can kind of capitalize on that.
I'm so confused why Zergs still do not patrol this front with the Zerglings. You really need to, because if Ostojiy would have done that, look at this Chrono Boost being applied to both of them. This is an instant tell that it will be some sort of 4-gate pressure. Look at this, the Roach Warren just going down right now. At the same time, the Pylon goes down. This is actually bad timing. Yes, bad timing for Ostojiy. There is a small window where Inca can hit, where Ostojiy really cannot do a thing.
But I like that Ostojiy chose to spread creep from his third. That's very key if you want to hold off any kind of 2-base play, just because it extends further out to the map where you can really chase down. You can get surrounds really easily. The flanks are nice as well.
And the Pylons can't be warped in closer, so really, really good. 4 Stalkers. Okay, so he should actually start putting on pressure right now.
Yeah.
And what this is to do, it's like I guaranteed have some sort of like timing against you. He will react with a lot of Zerglings, then you warp in a ton of Zealots.
Wow, this is very tense. Inca doing a good job making sure to minimize damage on the Stalkers. Thus far, his drones are trying to also get into the fray, but the Queen also trying to hold off. They just want to stall for the Roaches that are about to hatch at that third as well, and just like that, Ostojiy does have a larger force to deal with it, but now Zealot reinforcements make it very hard for Ostojiy to hold the third, and just like we were talking about, the lack of creep spread makes it very difficult to reinforce quickly. Ostojiy reconvenes at his natural, and he loses his third base. A very well-executed 4-gate from Inca.
Yeah, well executed 4-gate from Inca, but again, the scouting from Ostojiy is poor, and that led to this 4-gate being so successful. From here, all he has to do, all that Inca has to do, is back up. He can apply a little bit more pressure, but he doesn't want to get, overzealous with it. But he can back up, macro, and just start leaning on his opponent, and, like every good person that takes their advantages, they increase their advantage.
See that Ostojiy now trying to re-expand to his third base, but Inca has a very decisive advantage because, Ostojiy's forced so many units. His drone count is not great at all. In fact, it's on par with his opponent. You can see that Inca doesn't have exactly too much to transition to, but he does have a robotics bay. Normally you see Protosses love to drop Twilights as well and get Blink out, but I guess Inca's really focused on getting out his third Nexus at this point.
Which is fine. I don't mind this at all. He needs to be careful because this incoming attack looks to be very dangerous. Burrow, Metabolic Boost, and Glial Reconstitution are all on the way.
Everything's so slow, though. Slow Zerglings. So Roach attack against Stalkers with no blink. That's something you don't see every day.
And he will not be able to get in there. If he had Metabolic Boost, I think he would have been able to cut everything off. But still, there's a ton of units still out here. I love this Observer positioning. This Observer over here is just going to check and make sure that Inca can actually position all of his units correct. Let's see if Ostojiy, he almost got caught. Glial Reconstitution actually kicked in perfect timing.
And now the point where you can kind of bounce back and forth. Oh, and Immortal is caught out of position. A great pickoff indeed. If he manages to snipe it, the Roaches really want to get to it. It's going to come down to the very last inch. And a force field does lock in some Zerglings, but another ground force field also traps a lot of Roaches as well. Very tough spot for Ostojiy. All for one Immortal.
And a ton of Roaches are going to die from here. But that being said, there are Roaches going at the third base right now, and it is undefended. All the units are all the way on top. Nope, 4 Stalkers are going to greet this. This will buy a little bit of time, but still not going to be that much. It is correct. Oh, being force fielded out completely. Nice Burrow. And he will actually regenerate a lot of that health until additional Roaches pop up here. Oh, wow. I didn't even see the Colossus here.
Yeah, the Colossus is now out into the field. Thermal Lance hasn't been out just yet, but it's about to, and it's going to make it very tough for Ostojiy because he doesn't have any real strong economy behind this. He's only been making Roaches. In fact, yeah, it's just been pure Roaches. Third saturation is very poor. Kind of tries to also surround the Colossus and take it out, but good micro from Inca really prevents that from happening. And now Ostojiy kind of has to go back to the drawing board. And by drawing board, He's droning up very slowly, but it's going to be very difficult to climb back in this game.
By drawing board, you might mean back to next week's qualifier, because that's what it's looking like. Inca just has a giant advantage here. And yes, there's a couple of counterattacks. Ooh, 2 roaches getting into the main. That might do a lot of damage if it goes unseen. But Inca, too good of a player. He's going to see that right away. In the meantime, that one Colossus is just doing so much damage. Only 4 kills, but I bet you it's just done an immaculate amount of work against all the units coming out from Ostojiy.
And Ostoji's trying to sprinkle in more drones, but he's really just keeping up a high roach count to pressure his opponent.
He's pressuring with drones, too.
Wow, how did that even happen, man?
I have no clue. Honestly, I have no clue.
They definitely got the wrong assignment orders. Like, I told you to be a roach. And it's like, oh, I told you we shouldn't have come along. And the drones are heading back. Very, very awkward.
From
indeed.
here, I don't think Ostojiy can continue. I mean, Inca's set, man. With that Colossus out, like, it's really hard to do additional damage. Of course, the Observer is being placed brilliantly. Yeah, I love Inca's position too much.
Good army tracking with the Observers. Very safe. He did lose several of his sentries, though. That's something that's a silver lining for Ostojiy, but he still has a lot of ground to make up, especially with Tech and Infestation Pit and Spire. Not even done yet, and it's almost 15 minutes in the game. So Ostojiy is playing very, very much with pretty much his hands tied behind his back. He's just kind of struggling through everything, but now starting to get decent saturation. It all comes down back to that 3rd hatchery dropping.
Of course, that 3rd hatchery dropping loses him 33% of what he should have been getting in gas and minerals. And because of that, he's just so far behind in the development. The development of his units, the quality of his units, the amount of units. This is all a big problem.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be able to max, definitely, by the time Inca pushes out, but the remax will be very, very, just weak. There's nothing that really that Ostojiy will be able to threaten. He'll have to micro very, very well in order to tackle this giant death ball that's building. 3 Colossus, 18 Stalkers, and 4 more Gateways in production. Now, keep in mind, Inca's going for double forge upgrades. This is something that we don't usually see. We see maybe 1 forge, but Sase tried doing this in TSL4, and I think it's catching on more and more because if you see a lot of Zerglings, it's kind of useful, but I guess, I mean, a lot of people kind of argue that it's not that useful against a roach-based army, but I mean, at this point, Inca just really wants to pad his lead, and going up 4 upgrades on your opponent, because +1 is just on the way. So going up 4 upgrades on your opponents damage-wise is pretty good.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, a lot of the styles these days are getting away from the roach-based upgrades, or roach-based armies, really, and going into Zerglings and then straight to Infestors. Maybe, you know, 30% of the games we're actually seeing that. So a little bit of an attack right here. He's going to be able to take down a couple of these Colossus.
No. He's going to take out all the Colossus at this point. Oh, there's another one at the bottom, though. But, in fact, a huge army from the south really forces Ostojiy out of there. Now, the big thing is that Ostojiy has been doing this whole time, pooling all of his resources and trying to get Infestors out. But he's also getting his Hive Tech out. So if he can stall for enough time... Oh, he just used all of his gas on Roaches. He doesn't have time, really, to be able to get any Hive Tech units out. He doesn't even have that many Corrupted. He's only got 2.
Oh, no, he's engaging right now, and 20 of the roaches were actually in production, so that's like half of the army. The fungal is just tickling everything. You can see how many stalkers are here, and this is going to be, I can't see a way that Ostojiy can actually stop this. It's just too powerful. 3 Colossus and no Corruptors out in the field. They all got shot down on 3 base. What can you do, Frodan?
Way too much damage. GG gets called out, and Inca takes game number 2 and the series and moves on to the semifinals, where I don't know who he's playing, but we'll figure that out. But, man, the semifinals is a very hard place to get to. It started off at 190 players, but now we have 2 of our players decided. It'll be Inca and Minigun.
Yeah. I'm really well played by Inca. I feel like both those games, it was just like, Ostojiy, I'm going to punish the crap out of you for not keeping up with scouts. Yeah. And he did so very easily.
Very well done by Inca, and, of course, showing different... dimensions to his PvZ play. First, when we saw him in the beginning of the qualifiers, it was all Stargate play. Yesterday, he was showing a lot of diversity in his ability to handle huge death balls, and today, showing good micro in different situations. Now, Inca will be the one advancing to to the semifinals.
Yes.
Andre, that does it for us here at NASL Season 4 qualifiers for today. Do you have anything to say before we give announcements and send off the kids?
Nope. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We couldn't do it. We couldn't have done it without you all.
All right, so guys, tune in tomorrow for Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam. Going to clean up the rest of the Season 4 qualifiers. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsors. We want to thank by Epson. Epson is #1 projector brand worldwide. Check them out at epson.com to get your own home theater and audiovisual needs.
Ezo monitors, of course, the monitor supplier here at the North American Star League. Check them out at ezo.com/NA.
Thank you to Kingston HyperX, the people who provide SSD and memory for NASL Season 3 and 4 and our offline season qualifiers. Kingston, of course, is a good supporter of a lot of things in esports. Check them out at kingston.com.
Of course, Game Minder, if you want to set a reminder about any upcoming broadcasts or even new games that are coming out, you can do so by using Game Minder. Head over to handleabra.com/product/GameMinder.
Also, thank you to iBuyPower, the PC company that helps power our broadcast. iBuyPower is a place where you can buy your own pre-assembled PC, so if you're in need for one, hop on over to iBuyPower.com.
And last but not least, we want to thank, of course, Twitch.tv and Tropicool, those wonderful people that are always giving us that music, and, of course, esports themselves. Twitch. Oh, right. I'm actually wearing a Twitch shirt.
Wearing a Twitch shirt.
Thanks, Twitch.
Thank you so much to Tropicool, the DJ that is moving and grooving all the time in the clubs of LA. He's the one providing the music. If you want your own, you can download it at soundcloud.com/tropicool-official. And of course, for a full list of sponsors and everything, hop on over to NASL.tv, our website, in case you missed anything in terms of upcoming schedules and all the cool things we're going to announce onto a further date. That should do it. So, guys, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Frodan, twitter.com/Gretorp. Say hi to us. We'll say hi back. We can talk about the games. We can talk about Team Arena. We can talk about Tasia. We love all those things, and we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check back in with us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific for the finals and the semis of the Season 4 qualifiers. And that does it. Peace out. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Get out of here.